moment, because this message may reach your heart differently than the other. Maybe you've been carrying too much lately. Maybe your mind has been tired for longer than anyone realizes. And maybe this story found you at the exact moment you needed it most. Stay with me until the end, because there is something about this story that may quietly change the way you see your own life. Daniel Carter lived in New York City. Every morning looked exactly the same. The alarm rang at 6:30, coffee, traffic, work, silence, then repeat. From the outside, Daniel looked successful. Nice apartment, good salary, professional job in a tall glass building downtown. But inside, something felt empty. And the strange part was, he couldn't explain why. At night, he would sit near his apartment window, staring at the lights of the city below him. Thousands of people moving constantly, cars rushing through the streets, bright signs glowing in the darkness, but even surrounded by millions of people, Daniel had never felt more alone. Nobody knew how tired he really was. Not physically tired, mentally tired, the kind of tired that slowly builds over years. The pressure to succeed, the pressure to always appear okay, the pressure to keep moving forward even when your heart quietly wants rest. Daniel had spent years pretending everything was fine. He smiled at co-workers, answered emails, went to meetings, but deep down, he felt disconnected from himself. Every night before sleeping, the same thought returned. Is this really all life is? One evening after working late, Daniel missed his usual train home. Rain covered the streets. Most of the city hurried past, without looking at one another. Trying to avoid the storm, Daniel stepped into a small bookstore cafe he had never noticed before. It was quiet inside. Soft jazz music played in the background. Warm yellow lights reflected against old wooden shelves. Near the back corner sat an older man reading a book quietly beside the window. Something about him felt different. Calm. Not fake calm, not social media calm, real calm. The kind Daniel had not felt in years. The old man slowly looked up and smiled. Long night? Daniel laughed softly. Long life. The man smiled again. Sit down. Daniel normally avoided conversations with strangers, but for some reason, this felt different, so he sat. For a few minutes they simply listened to the rain outside. Then the older man spoke quietly. You spend too much time trying to carry tomorrow before it arrives. Daniel looked at him carefully. That sentence felt strangely personal. The man continued. People exhaust themselves worrying about futures they cannot control. And while doing that, they completely miss the present moment. Daniel stared silently at the table. Because deep down, he knew it was true. The old man never asked many questions. Yet somehow, everything he said felt connected directly to Daniel's life. He talked about fear, about loneliness, about how modern life keeps people constantly distracted. Then he said something Daniel would never forget. Most people are searching for peace, in places that were never designed to give it to them. The cafe suddenly felt quieter, almost like time itself had slowed down. The old man leaned back slightly. You think peace will arrive after success, after more money, after life finally becomes perfect. Then he gently shook his head. But peace does not begin around you. It begins within you. Daniel felt something inside him shift, not dramatically, not emotionally, just quietly. Like a heavy room inside his mind had finally become still for a moment. The older man looked out the rain-covered window and continued speaking softly. People rush through life trying to become someone, but very few stop long enough to understand who they already are. Daniel listened carefully. For the first time in years, he felt completely present. No pressure, no rushing, no noise, just silence. And strangely, that silence felt healing. After nearly an hour, Daniel looked down at his phone for only a second. When he looked back up, the old man was gone. No goodbye, no sound, just gone. Only an empty coffee cup remained beside the window, and beneath it, a folded note. Daniel slowly opened it. Inside were just a few words. Slow down. Life is not leaving you behind. Daniel stared at the paper silently while rain continued falling outside, and for the first time in a very long time, he smiled. Not because his problems disappeared, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because something inside him finally understood. Peace was never waiting somewhere in the future. It had been quietly waiting inside him all along. Maybe this story found you tonight for a reason. Maybe your mind needed this pause more than you realized. And maybe you're closer to peace than you think. If this message connected with you, subscribe to this channel and like this video for more stories like this. Stay calm and keep moving.